Hey guys, it's etaprime back here again. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Pac-Man Counter Cade from Arcade1up. So before we get started, I just want to let you know that I actually had no intentions of picking one of these up, but they recently went on sale at Walmart for $99 and I figured I'd go ahead and get one. Well, I actually ordered two, the Pac-Man version and the Space Invaders version, but that won't be here for a couple weeks, and that's the one I plan on doing a modding tutorial on. Arcade1up does offer a few variants of these counter-cades: Pac-Man and Pac-Pow, which is the one I have here, Space Invaders Original and Space Invaders Color, Centipede and Missile Command, and Dig Dug and Dig Dug 2. The regular price I've been seeing on these things is $199 from most retailers, but Arcade1up's website has them listed for $235, and I think $199 is way overpriced for what you're getting here. Even at the $99 price tag, I was a bit hesitant on picking any of these up, but I've had a lot of viewers ask me about them, and they've wanted a modding tutorial for a while now. And since they went on sale, I figured I'd go ahead and get it out of the way. So the size on these counter-cades is 18.5 inches high, 11.25 inches wide, and 12.25 inches deep. So it's a very tiny arcade cabinet, and it has a vertical screen. So if we do any modding with a Raspberry Pi to this machine, we can only use vertical games with this. Overall, I do like the design of the Pac-Man cabinet, and Arcade1up has definitely stepped up their joystick game from the original release of the first wave. They used to use a leaf spring system with their joysticks, which was absolutely horrible. Now they're using more of a Sanwa clone, which definitely gets the job done a lot better. With all of the new Arcade1up machines I've seen, they do include the plexiglass cover over the control panel so you don't wear off those graphics easily. And with this specific Pac-Man Counter Cade, they have a joystick and two buttons. First player, second player, and your joystick, because that's all we need to play Pac-Man games. A single speaker in the front, which doesn't sound that bad, and an 8-inch vertical LCD screen. They're still using the older volume control. We have 3 notches, one for off, medium, and high volume. If you've played Pac-Man, you know how this thing's going to work. We have Pac-Man and Pac and Pow. So we're just going to get right into Pac-Man. Press your first player button to get started. Everything functions properly. As you can see, the sound is great, and overall it just works well for a Pac-Man cab. But like I mentioned, the main reason I picked these up is for modding them out and putting a Raspberry Pi inside of here, or some type of Android device. It really depends on what people want to see. But keep in mind, in the end, you're going to be stuck with vertical games. Now don't get me wrong, there's a lot of great vertical arcade games out there, and the Raspberry Pi can run most of them at full speed. But if there's not a lot of vertical games you enjoy playing, then this setup might not be for you. But definitely keep an eye on the channel, because as soon as I get that Space Invaders cab in, I'm going to tear it apart and we'll start adding the Raspberry Pi to it. But of course, I do want to see what's powering this unit, so we'll do a teardown. But before we do that, I just wanted to give you a quick look at Pac and Pow running. So as the counter-cades sit stock like they are, I think they're great if you enjoy the games that are preloaded on them. Even at $99, I think the price is a little high here, but if there's one of these cabinets that you really love the games on, it might be worth it to you. So now it's time to pull this thing apart and see what we're working with here. Now I'm not going to be modding out this Pac-Man version because the way the control panel is laid out. The joystick is right in the middle and I'd rather have it over to the left-hand side a little more, and that Space Invaders cabinet already does that from the factory for us. Alright, so yeah, they have the Pac-Man 4-way restrictor on the joystick itself, and it does have a full-size stick and full-size buttons. It looks like they're using the same type of controller board that they use in the other Arcade1up machines, but obviously there's not a lot of connections on here because we only needed 2 buttons and a joystick for this game. It's got the same type of ribbon cable going to the main board in the back of this machine. I'm pretty sure they're using the same type of main boards that they use in the other Arcade1up machines, so we'll take a look at that now. So down here at the bottom, we have the main board enclosure. This is going to contain the RAM, storage, and CPU. And it looks like they have some type of separate LVDS or power control unit for the smaller LCD screen in this cab. I'm going to go ahead and pull these metal boxes off and see what we have. This particular model is using a different CPU than I've seen used in the Arcade1up. This is actually the same CPU that's used in the new Neo Geo Arcade Stick Pro. This is an Action 7051. It's a quad-core CPU at 1.3 GHz. Pretty sure it only has 256 megabytes of RAM and 512 megabytes of onboard storage. This setup is definitely powerful enough to run most of the vertical main games at full speed, but unfortunately we're going to be limited on storage and hackability. I'm sure somebody out there has added more games to this or unlocked more games, but personally I'd rather just throw a Raspberry Pi in here running RetroPie or Recall Box. Now, one thing that's going to take a little while to figure out is what LVDS controller board I need for this to control the LCD screen. If anybody has any ideas off the top of their head, just let me know in the comments below. But I have tried 4 different boards so far, but unfortunately I'm missing half of the screen because these are not programmed for the resolution and screen size of the LCD built into this cabinet. But I'm pretty sure I'll be able to come up with something. But if you already know what LVDS board I need in this, let me know in the comments and I'll go ahead and order it up. Nothing I have here has worked properly yet. So that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I really appreciate you watching. That was just a quick look at the Arcade1up Pacman Counter Cade. If you're into Pac-Man or any of the other variants they offer, I think it could be worth $99 as it sits, depending on your preferences. But at that $200 or $235 price tag, like I've seen online, I would never pick one of these up. If you're interested in modding one of these out with the Raspberry Pi, definitely stay tuned to the channel because I will have that video coming up as soon as I get my Space Invaders cabinet in. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. But like always, thanks for watching.